Thanks for being here. So we'll connect to our Ujjayi breath. And maybe today, maybe just start to feel into how breath illuminates the body. If this isn't an immediate visceral experience that you have with your own breath, maybe start to bring in some of your vision capacities. Maybe give it a little imaginal boost. And of course, we might enjoy or could imagine considering enjoying the entire body being experienced as luminous and breathful. So let's place our soles of feet together, Baddha Konasana. And have the heels, the outer edges, and the big toe ball mounds pressing. And that generally will start to light up a little more sensation in the hip crease, hip sockets. We're going to move through some rounds of Uddiyana. So let these Uddiyana work to help bring our feeling awareness into the hips, the hip creases, the space of the pelvis. So when we begin our inhale, you might even begin it from the ground beneath the tailbone and draw the breath, or begin the breath in the pelvis. And hold that breath. I'm going to press those feet together. So let the sensation increase a little bit. And we bring our hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation, just out the mouth, everything out. I'm still keeping the feet pressing together, these leg lines alive. Draw the belly in and back and up, and keeping the chin low. And release when you need a breath. We'll do another. So when you're ready, I like to use the fingertips. One, when I press down, some of the usual way my weight kind of situates in this lower torso is alleviated. It's slightly altered. So I get a little different sensory perception of the organs, the bones, the space of the pelvis. So we'll inhale, and as we're holding, press the soles of the feet together. Because sometimes we can almost inject or supply ways of feeling an area until we learn to feel and sense without that action supply. Okay, bring the hands forward. A swift, thorough exhalation. It's right out the mouth. Now keep pressing the soles of the feet together as you're drawing the belly in. Again, from the perineum. So not just the belly, go way lower. Go to the genitals, the anus, the perineum. Draw, lift, pull, moving that floor of pelvis, entering into the space of the pelvis. We can feel the contents, we can feel the context of the pelvis. And release when you need a breath. Resume your Ujjayi breath. I want to go hands right to thigh, unlocking the hip. So I'm going to still maintain a good contact here in the feet, the soles of feet pressing together. I go right hand to right thigh. And now let that breath start to stretch and move from the pelvis and into this waist area, this right side waist area. As you're exhaling, you can gently recruit those low belly muscles. The same ones from Uddiyana, but not the same way as Uddiyana. So we're no longer working Uddiyana, but we can certainly find some of those same elements of motion and muscle, pulling, lifting, draining, tugging. Now remember, this is a really important lymphatic area. So a lot of these ways of breathing, and this is my presumption, my supposition, and start that movement of the fluids that tend to aggregate in the hip crease, and so near our vital organs. So if it's helpful to think of this in a circulatory way, that we're both breathing, getting movement, and moving fluids with our actions, maybe that helps. Sometimes we have to clear away a little bit of what's there to see what's truly there. And we release. We'll switch sides. So we go left hand to left thigh, right hand to the ground. And remember, we don't have to push and feel any kind of painful anything. So if there's, if the hips are a little slower to wake up, just work on feeling the breath reach these areas. Let the touch be a sufficient guide for the breath. In a lot of ways, I wonder if yoga isn't one of its teachings for us, is just decoupling the effort from the experience. Good. And then we'll stay with us a few more breaths. Just feel how you're motioning, how you're gesturing around this left side waist. There's a tendency for most of us, all of us, to kind of let the weight of the torso sink. I'm suggesting use your hands for just these next 2 more breaths or so. feel this waist, this left side of the waist, actually lifting, moving away from the hip crease. Maybe in that movement you can start to feel how fluids start to reorganize. So you can lean quite a bit to feel that. You can even start to turn the trunk. And then we'll release. Use your hands, both hands, help the knees, the legs out of that position. And we're going to stay with this lower body, these legs, this pelvic abdominal area. So let's lie on back, have a roll or whatever prop you like for the inner legs nearby. And we'll let this elbow to knee be a continuation of unlocking the hip. And maybe more than a physical unlocking, you know, physical movement of the joint and the bones and the tissues. Also, it helps us start to feel the space of the body, which carries a very close correlation to feeling the energy of the hips, the energy of the body. Inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Just a little is perfect. And then exhaling, reach the left leg out. And reach it with the intent of feeling bone move away from bone. And starting to sense the space of the hip. And draw, sink the belly in and down. So we're going to keep that low belly moving. Inhale, bend the left knee. And exhale, reach out through the right leg. Feeling bone away from bone. Draw the low belly down. And then inhale, bend the right knee. And curling the tailbone or finding the tailbone, reach out through the left. You can turn the elbows to face the right thigh a teeny amount and sink the low belly down. At the very end of that sink, just let the abdomen rebound. Inhale, bending the left knee. We don't have to strangulate the guts. Curling tailbone, exhale, reach out through the right leg. Unlocking the hip. How does that occur for you? How do we gesture release around the hip crease? Sink the belly in and down. Inhale, bend the right knee. Okay, you'll do 3 more on each side. Now that we started things off, can you feel how the space of the thigh is continuous with the space of the pelvis and the torso above it? So as you're attuning to the space of the hip, feel how the space of the thigh is continuous with the hip, is continuous with the torso. We may not perceive that as continuous yet, but as you perceive as if, we start to encounter and become aware of and even dissolve some of those partitions in the body, those partitions that might We might experience as little walls or differences of solidity or fluidity in the body. So let your noticing, your sensing of those continuities or those partitions, let that be the medicine. Maybe our curious, interested, caring, noticing could be sufficient. Again, feeling the space of the thigh continuous with the pelvis is continuous into the torso, the sacral area, the low back, the abdomen. And if not, play as if. Start to investigate as if that's true. We may encounter some other things, some other artifacts. Cool. And so that's probably getting into the 3 range. So it seems. All right, then we'll grab our prop, our roll or our block. We're going to do gate opener, so ensure that you're in your room, on your mat in a way where you have adequate room to separate the legs widely. Okay. The legs will be straightened and moving from vertical to the covers of a book opening. Here we go. Inhaling. You can feel for breath in the low back. Beneath the navel, hold that. Squeeze the inner legs. And spread those foot bones. Curl tailbone. Exhale, float the head, the shoulder blades up off the ground, teeny bit. Keep the squeeze. If you're feeling bold, increase the squeeze. Sinking the low belly down. Left hand to roll. Inhale, separate the legs smoothly. Kind of glide them apart so you're not dropping them to the sides. And then exhale. Reaching that right leg away from this, where the roll is, that's that pubic symphysis. It's like a joint right in the middle of the pelvis. Sink the belly in and down. It's a really important joint where that roll is, so let that roll touch the pelvis. Inhale, bring the legs together, head down. And if you have a sense of there being like a disc, a joint disc there, that can be fun to play with. Squeeze the object, curl tailbone. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. If you're feeling bold, increase the squeeze. Stretching the legs a little higher, draw. Sink the belly down. Right hand to roll, inhale, smoothly separate the legs into straddle. Exhale, curling tailbone, reach that left leg away from the roll. Right leg away from the roll. You start to feel that joint in the middle of the pelvis. It's very important for gait and leg movement. Inhale, bring the legs together, setting the head down. Keep bringing the legs together. They just keep moving together, squeezing the object. Keep bringing them together, squeezing the object. Exhale, curling the tailbone, the head, shoulder blades off the ground. Squeeze more if you're into it. So get a little charge. It's like a little battery charge. Sink the belly in and down. So why use the muscles strongly? They behave a little bit like batteries. Left hand to roll, inhale, separate the legs. Keeping the head and shoulder blades up, exhale, curling the tailbone, reach. If you're using the roll on that pelvis, go right to that joint in the middle of your pelvis. Sink the belly down, the low belly connected very close to that joint in the middle of the pelvis. Inhale, bring the legs together, setting the head down. Keep bringing the legs together, keep bringing the legs together. Squeezing, 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 curl tailbone. Exhale, head, shoulder blades off the ground. Keep squeezing, reaching. Let those leg muscles work as we express that charge through the muscles, sinking, drawing the low belly down as the fluids move through the body. That's part of our electrical health, our electromagnetic, chemical, electrical health. Hand to roll, inhale, separate legs into straddle. Exhale, curling tailbone, reach out through the legs. Sink the low belly in and down. Inhale, bring the legs together, set the head down. We'll do another pair. Keep squeezing, keep gathering the legs, keep gathering the legs. If it gets a little spicy, get even more interested than spiced. Squeezing, curl tailbone. Exhale, float the head, the shoulder blades off the ground. And let that exhale start to clear and move and massage this lower abdominal area. Sometimes when things get stagnant and we start to move them, we find out that it feels kind of like being a little grouchy. Hand to roll, last one, inhale, straddle legs apart. Exhaling, curling tailbone, reach. Sink the low belly in and down. Inhale, bringing legs together, set head down. Exhaling, set the feet down. Remove the roll. All right. Once you roll over, we'll help ourselves to standing. Try out those new legs. We're just going to keep working our way up the spine. Let's actually start a little narrower. So my feet are set wide, shoulder width, wider than shoulder width. Not horse stance yet. We're going to do some rounds of Agnisara. So Agnisara is that multiplicity of flappings. So inhale. We'll go slow rounds. We'll just do 2 slow rounds. And then swift, thorough exhale out the mouth. Staying empty, letting the hands push the thighs. So as I draw the belly in and release, my torso doesn't collapse, I'm actually propping, holding my torso away from my legs. It's like the hood of a car. Just prop it open. That little bit of back traction plus the Agnisara can be really nice, kind of sorting through the musculature of the low spine. So, all right. We'll do another slow round Agnisara. Here we go. Inhale. And a swift, thorough exhalation. Stay empty. Use those palms, keep the chest propped away from the thigh, and then draw the belly in and release several times. Release when you need breath. Now just walk those feet out a little bit further. We're going to give the hands a little in-between rest. So inhale, stretch those palms out to the sides. I've got my fingertips pointing up. And then exhale and reach out through the little finger ring, middle index, thumb as individually as possible. And then just lastly, as I curl up the wrist, I am getting into the structure of the wrist. Okay, so all those wrist joints start to move and those ligaments, tendons just start to. Let's do another. Inhale. And exhale, reach out through each finger as individually as you can feel. Pull the fist knuckles down. Good. Release. When we inhale, the arms out to the side. This time, eagle. Exhaling the left elbow over the right. I'm just using these moments to gradually deepen breath in the back of the body. Inhaling, we'll unwind that side. And then exhaling, we'll go right over left. Inhaling, release, straightening legs. We're going to go directly into a triangle. So if you need any blocks to start your triangle a little bit higher than lower, and just reach over, grab some. And we're going to start out with a right foot of triangle being the forward foot. So I turn that right foot forward. Now the alignment of the pelvis, sometimes it just has to work with the knees. No. Okay, but remember we can also engage these quadriceps, like working the muscles strongly again. It can be part of a really wonderful way that we both express and are replenishing the charge of the body. Remember, we're electromagnetic, we're chemical electric beings, we're piezoelectric beings. Exhaling, we reach that right hand forward, the right ribs lengthen forward. And I'm only going so far down in the triangle that this right side is lengthy. So how would I know if it's lengthy on my own? You can feel your ribs with your left hand if they're kind of all packed together. You can just start to play with, how do I lengthen out the ribs on the right side? And when your left hand's done playing with your ribs, you can stretch it upward away from those ribs. Now, because many of us have had injuries and surgeries around the knees, getting the muscles above the knee can sometimes feel a little tricky and a little slippery. So just start by working, feeling the quadricep engage. We're not locking the joint, but working the muscle, and then working the muscle to maintain that engagement, and letting that engagement start to open up other areas of the leg, the back of the knee, big lymphatic site, groin area. We know how important those groin muscles are. So keeping those legs charged up. Here's the deal, express it with your muscles. Replenish it with your deep breath. Extended warrior variation. Inhale, bend the right knee. You may have to open up your stance a bit. Lift your right arm to your right thigh. So we got a prop here. Keeping with this left arm, reaching out for now. Now, it's possible that left quadricep kind of softened up a bit. Re-engage. Deepen breath. So as we're accessing or expressing the energy, the batteries of the legs, deeply breathe into the space of the pelvis. How do I feel the space of the pelvis? Maybe I can subtly intone my legs moving outward, my right thigh bone, I can nudge forward. My left thigh bone, my left leg, I can reach back. Okay, we're going to lower this left hand, inhaling, bringing it behind the back. And then exhaling, we'll hook that left set of fingertips into that inner thigh. Or now if you get a little finger hook on that inner thigh, go ahead and feel into those muscles. Let those muscles turn on into those fingertips. You got a nice feedback system there. Relaxing from collar to skull. I'm not dropping the head, but I am relinquishing my neck grasp. Because these things go together so strongly. Any grasp I may unintentionally be doing in the pelvis is usually mirrored to some degree in the jaw, neck, or head. It's always worth checking the big areas. Good, release. Now when we inhale, the hands down to the ground, we're going to set the knees down. We're going to pick up our first version of dolphin. First version. Set the elbows down, the forearms out. Push the ground as you're inhaling, the back ribs, side ribs expanding, moving. Exhale the knees off the ground, releasing the weight of the head. All right, take left foot toes, anchor down atop the right heel. As you're anchoring that weight down through the right foot, spread your weight distribution through as many of those ball mounds as you can. So you're just letting that weight spread through the entire forefoot, right forefoot. Very good. So we don't have to flatten out that arch necessarily. We can keep an arch. Now inhale, raise the left leg. And as you're exhaling, send that left leg out. Out. Go long. There you go. Good. And keep pushing. Push using those chest muscles. The rib cage will start to lift up as if right between the shoulder blades. That's the way lava comes right out of the earth's crust. It emerges. And inhaling into that left side pelvis. As you're reaching out through the left leg, feel how the left leg, the space of the leg is continuous with the space of the pelvis, is continuous with the space of the torso. Inhale, we'll set that left foot down, set the knees down, slide those hands under the shoulders, exhaling downward dog. Let's take 2 additional breath moments in downward dog. Deep breath. And now start to engage the triceps, the muscles that would help you feel the elbows straightening. Again, no hyperextension, and we're not locking the elbows, but engage the musculature. And then wrap the shoulders. Express the charge. And then replenish that with your breath. It's really important to use the phrase, use what God gave you on a daily basis. Express the charge, express that electricity, move it through. Let it not grow stagnant and in disuse. Triangle. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Generally heel to forefoot alignment, but also with respect to how the knees will work with this pelvic orientation. Okay. So engaging the quads, the legs here, exhaling, reach that left hand forward, the left ribs. Okay, and then wherever they get to, without crumpling, I just set the hand down. Or reach, slide the hand down. Okay, and I can always check my left side of ribs with my right hand. And then inhaling the right arm up. Engaging the quadriceps again. This will probably start to get into these little areas behind the knee and the inner leg as it kind of comes in and becomes the knee area. So I use those contractions judiciously, like medicine, to start to open up, to start to kind of hatch into some of those stagnant areas of the body, backs of the knees, groin, hip crease. These can be stagnant. How do I know what stagnant feels like? Sometimes it's just a little difficult to access. Sometimes it's slow to respond, like I try to send a signal, I'm not sure what I'm feeling. Or grouchy, little, oh. Get to both quads. Express with the legs, replenish with your breath. Extended warrior variation. Inhale, bending left knee. Lift the left forearm to the left thigh. You may have to adjust your stance open. Exhaling, reach those legs out in their respective direction. So this left arm can nudge. As that right arm lifts and reaches back, let that right waist, that right hip crease and right waist area, let that grow exposed. Those little stretch, spread out revealments can be really sweet on fluid flow in the body. Good. And a second position for this right arm. Inhale, bring the right arm down behind the back. And as we're exhaling, we'll latch those fingertips onto the thigh. And feel for releasing above the collarbone, beneath the right jaw. Feel for releasing from within the ear. How do you release from the middle ear, from inside the ear? And when we release, inhaling, we'll set the hands down, the knees down. And we're setting up dolphin. I didn't forget a thing, did I? Oh, good, dolphin. So we set elbows down. Exhaling, press the knees off the ground. And this time we'll take the right foot toes, anchor around the left heel cord. Take an additional moment, feel the weight of the head hanging down. We're still pressing, staying light in those shoulders. We're just letting the head differentiate itself from the shoulders. And then inhaling, picking that right foot up. Exhale, reach it back. So use all those wonderful leg batteries called muscles. You can engage them strong and long. There you go, strong and long. So the knee straightens. Again, I'm saying straighten, not lock. When we engage the muscles in this way that is beneficial for fluid movement and expressing charge, and they'll feel fluid. There's a degree of fluidity and movement about it. It doesn't lock up. So if you're feeling like you're locking up or cramping your muscles, just keep playing with it. There's another way. Inhale, set the right foot down. Set the knees down. Slip the hands underneath your shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. While wrapping the shoulders, engage the triceps. Inhale, we'll step our feet forward. When we stand, all right, we're going to work. Sanskrit escapes me. I'll remember it later when I don't necessarily need it. We're going to go half lotus with an option of folding. Paschimottanasana, I think. The thing with the fold and the optional grasp is some people don't like it on their knees. So let me offer a couple, just here's a little show and tell options. So one option is to have a block kind of in front of us. Here's my strap. And we can start with the half lotus. So this is one of those times, this is not tree, this is half lotus. Let me point to you. And so this is option one, just standing half lotus. Maybe we want to reach the, oops, I guess we'll go this side up. Okay. Option two is connecting the right hand to the right foot. Now, if I am using a strap, here's what you need to consider. You do not want to be trapped if you need to get out. So I am holding my strap expressly and specifically so that I can drop away part of the strap. So this does take a little bit of, I gotta think about potential exits. Okay, so I'm holding my strap expressly to drop it away should I need to. Okay. Option three is folding. And that's why I've set the block up there. This is kind of a delicate fold situation, delicate for balance and maybe delicate for your knees. So here's an option. Maybe knee doesn't want to go there, but maybe knee is all right with propping right here on the quad. Maybe folds a little bit much today, so maybe I go find myself a section of wall and work this a lot like shower. And I do have this wonderful option of setting my blocks against the wall so I can get more fold, less fold. So I'm going to talk through the half lotus sides, and if you need to kind of open up that lotus so you can make the foot more active and protect the knee using wall, all those are wonderful options. So you have to select for your knees. But let me talk through. I'll go with the right side. So right side and half lotus. The right hand can go to the foot, or maybe I use a strap. Please, just do a little future think here. If you need to let the strap go away, how's that going to happen? This, just supporting the foot in this place might be your pose. Connect to breath. If you're wanting to check out the fold, smoothly exhaling, folding. Okay, expect that this will go a little different. We can put the hand on the block until the hand reaches the floor. This one leg in half lotus, theoretically, should kind of change the way all of the tension in the left leg and in the fold goes. So let it feel a little squirrely if it needs to feel a little squirrely. You can either stand up, which is a careful affair, or you can crouch, just let that right foot down to the ground. Accept weight gradually. Right. Okay. And then you massage people are really hip to this. Your ankle bone is probably pressing a good amount in those little muscle groupings. If you're feeling clever, set up that heel or that ankle bone to press right into those muscles. They kind of get a little, I call it gloppy. They kind of get a little fused together. So your little ankle bone can be a little massage tool through some of these groupings in front of the hip. Let's try the other side. So we're going half lotus, left side. And maybe you simply want to hold half lotus, maybe reaching the right arm up. There's a lot of cool things to get into in the low and mid back by the simple stretching up of the arm. If you're wanting to grab the foot, it would be left hand behind back to left foot. You can continue to support like so, or the fold. Just go carefully. We're always, with respect to the knee. Releasing the neck. All right. And to exit, you can either release the foot, you can crouch. I'm going to stand up and then ease the leg and the foot out. Okay. And of course, the warmer that we are, that kind of gelatinous, watery matrix that we are, the warmer we are, the differently that'll feel coming out, going in. All right, we're going to do a brief round of shoulder stand and then Shavasana. So when you come up into shoulder stand, I won't mention all the props, but if you need props for your neck. So the triceps, the blades are bearing the weight. We'll start with the legs skyward. And reach with active feet upward. Okay, we'll just trace through a half lotus on each side. So starting with the right foot, just tracing that right ankle down to the left thigh. And lifting up through that right thigh as well as the inner left leg, as well as the tailbone. Good, we'll slide that right leg up. We'll switch our half lotus sides. Slide the left ankle down the right leg. by straightening out of half lotus, folding the feet toward the head or over the head, like plow. Do your best to help leave the head and the spine on the ground as you unroll. So use your hands if you need to. Or unrolling out of plow into Shavasana. Just kind of unfurling the spine, leave the head down, do your best. In doing so, you get a marvelous moment in Shavasana where your spine has been subtly elongated. And feel free to rest when you've reached your destination. Often we know our charge, our energy, our expression, our emotions because of and when they're in movement. It can be really challenging to sense something when it's stationary, fixed, stagnating. Sometimes we know a thing because it's changed a little bit. A movement, we're built to know and to learn through movement. So much of our hormonal system is co-regulates with movement and learning. So much of our social knowing and our social literacy occurs through how we move in and between. So we move the thing so we can know the thing. So we move the fluids so we can move the thing. We move the muscles so we can move the thing. It takes lots of manipulations of building blocks to figure out how to building block, what a building block is, a Lincoln log, right? It takes lots of writing in turns of phrases and editing to figure out what the word is and how to say it just so. Right? We just have to manipulate the thing a lot to know what it is. And so maybe a lot of our strength and our support is a function of process. Just having been moved through enough process. Manipulations, turnings, observations, interests, questions. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side and press up. So I'm very thankful to be able to share in this, this laboratory time with you. Namaste.